Good evening, everyone. This is Taylor from thetradinganalyst.com, and thank you for all the chart requests. We're going to run through them, and I'm going to give my analysis, and we're going to go over my thought process and show you exactly why I think what I do, and hopefully you'll be able to learn a thing or two from it. If you have any questions at the end of the video, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. First one we're going to take a look at is BP, and I'm going to zoom out here so I can get a better look. So first thing I'm seeing, definitely in a shorter term uptrend here. You can see that by this uptrend line. Here's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch, here's several touches along that line right here recently. Another thing that I'm seeing here is some pretty decent resistance here. Right around this area, 35 to 37, you can see that it doesn't really like to stay above this level. Recently, you can see that it was support right here, and right here, and right here, and then when we come back up to retest it, right here we get rejected, and then again right here we get rejected. So that's going to be resistance, and I'll go ahead and I'll draw that up here as well. About $37. You can see there's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch as well. So between 35 and 37 is resistance, and then we've got support from this uptrend line right here. We're also above the 200-day moving average, so that is constructive here for BP. Really to see a nice breakout, we want to break over these highs. Obviously, if we do break over these highs, can definitely see $37 up there. All right, let's take a look at the next chart request, Nike. And Nike, I believe, just had an earnings announcement, and that's why we have this little drop right here. And I'm going to look at the weekly time frame to show you what exactly I'm seeing here. You can see that the weekly time frame, we have been in a bull channel since 2009. Here's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch, and then we broke through it here just recently right here. So not exactly the most bullish action here for Nike. Obviously it can always bounce back, but as it stands right now, it's broken out of this trend line, out of this bull channel, so we could be potentially seeing a change in trend. And now we also have this shorter term downtrend line. Well, it's not that shorter term, but on the weekly time frame, it started back in 2015 right here, and we've got a rejection there and there. So we've got this downtrend line as well as this uptrend line that we broke below right there. Next, let's take a look at, and I really want to make sure that I cover everyone's stocks, so I'm not going to be covering every single one that people cover, because I want to make sure that everyone gets a shot. So I'm going to skip to the next one, XRM. And we'll go ahead and we'll stick to the weekly time frame here, see if I can see anything. You can see that it doesn't really like to trade above $20, really. Okay, here in 2013, we've got a rejection there, right here, right here, and right here. And you can see this volume by price bar right here, volume by price. Okay, so this is the volume down here is volume by time. So either a week or a day, you get volume per that time period. Okay, so we're on the weekly chart. So each bar that you're seeing, so this bar right here, this big bar right down here, is how much volume was traded in this week. All right, so let's scroll out again. And this volume by price bar right here is how much volume has been traded at a particular price range. Okay, and as you can see right here, we have the most volume that has been traded on this chart right here, on this, not just this chart, but on this stock, is between, you know, about $13 and $18. So now that we're below that level, that is going to be big time resistance there. Another thing that I'm seeing right here is, let me see if I can draw a Fibonacci retracement level from these highs down to these lows, and I'll see if I can come up with anything. Get that down to these highs right there. So right around the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level is where we've had some trouble right here. That's really all that I'm seeing on the weekly time frame. I'm going to go to the daily time frame. So daily time frame, we're above the 200-day moving average. That's constructive. We broke this trend line, but you know, we're not going to put a ton of weight on it. Obviously, if we break over this little flag right here, then that's going to be constructive to the upside. You can see that we're in a very, very tight range. You can see we're trading sideways almost for about a month right now. We've been trading sideways. So we're looking for a bigger move outside of this range. So look for either a break of, you know, 775 or so and a break below this 200-day moving average, and that would bring a nice move to the downside, a bigger move to the downside. Or conversely, if we break this little level right here, about 842, okay, these previous highs right here, then we should see a very nice move to the upside. So when you get a nice contracted range, you can see the Bollinger Bands here are very tight, and that just means that price has been contracted in a very tight range. So look for a bigger move coming up here, and you can kind of wait for that signal. You can get short on a break of 775 or long on a break of, let's just round it up to 850. Next, let's take a look at OPK. And OPK, okay, I have seen this one before. So we've got resistance up here at about 1150. You can see how many times it's gotten rejected at this level, even over here, right there, right here, and then again right here we got rejected again at that level. But another thing that we have too is we broke over this little mini downtrend line. Actually, it's not that mini. I'm not sure why I called it mini, but we do have a downtrend line that we broke over. There's a touch, there's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch, there's a touch, there's a touch. We broke over it right here, and then we retested it right here. And this is a really nice example to show you, okay, is that you break over the downtrend line, but then you come back down here and you retest it, and that's when you get the bounce. Notice also we bounced off of the uptrend line, the new uptrend line that we had right here. Several touches here, we had a touch right here, and that matched up perfectly with that retest of this downtrend line that we broke over, and then this new uptrend line. This is a very high probable bounce zone, and that's exactly what we got right there for OPK. So again, remember resistance at 1145. If we break over 1145, we can see a very nice move to the upside. The next main resistance I'm seeing is not until about 1360. Why 1360? Well, from the lows of all these candles right here, you can see that volume by price bars. It's thick right here up at 1145, but then it drops off big right when you break over that 1145, and then it gets a little bit thicker once you get up to 1360. So, you know, volume by price is just another good visual representation of supply and demand. All right, I'm going to get to the next chart, FCAU. All right, FCAU clearly in a downtrend. You don't really need to draw these lines to know that you're in a downtrend. A downtrend is lower highs, lower lows. Uptrend is higher lows, higher highs. So let's see if I can see anything else here. So this downtrend line, and I'm going to look at the weekly time frame. Yeah, it's coiling pretty nicely here on the weekly time frame. If we get a break over this downtrend line, that should see a very nice move to the upside. So that's what you're going to want to look for, is a break over that downtrend line. By the time it does that, if it does that, will most likely be over the 200-day moving average as well, so that's constructive. Today was one of the biggest volume days we've had in about 2 months. Actually, it is the biggest volume day we've had in 2 months, so that's very constructive. Most likely going to head up in the short term. This is a nice little pattern here. Gap down to a doji, and then a gap up with a high volume. Short term definitely looks like it's going to head up to 660 to 670, maybe 675. And then on a longer term basis, you want to look for it to break over that downtrend line. If that happens, we can definitely see a really nice breakout here for fiat. All right, let's look at the next chart, LN. And LN, not sure why it's not letting me look back any further. Sometimes this does this on my charting program for newer stocks. What I'm seeing here is a nice little breakout of this flag right there, and I'll draw it for you. Right there, flag, triangle, doesn't really matter what you want to call it, but it broke outside of that pattern right here. And as you can see, a nice breakout there. So I'm not trying to do any hindsight trading, just something that you can learn from. If you see this in the future, and especially if you see the Bollinger Bands getting really tight, it means a big move is coming, and that's exactly what we got. All right, let's look at the next one, IPHI. And I'm going to scroll out here, see what I can see. So clearly in a nice uptrend here. And I'll just draw that right there. You can see there's a touch, here's a touch, there's a touch, there's a touch. Nice uptrend. As far as right now, right here, we've got some resistance up here at about 43.65. A break over that would signal the next move up. If you're fortunate enough to get it down here near, below $31, $33 along this trend line, that would be a great buy signal. Very low risk reward. It breaks below the trend line, then you stop out. If it bounces, then you get to participate in this beautiful uptrend for as long as it lasts. This is a technology stock. Technology is doing very, very well. It's the most bullish sector in the market right now, so definitely like this one overall. Let's take a look at TWLO. And TWLO, this is a newer stock right here. You can see that we've got a decent uptrend right here, and see what else I can draw for you. Again, very similar to LN that we just looked at a little while ago. So same pattern here, right here, and I'll draw that right there for you. So there's that triangle there, that flag pattern, clearly in an uptrend. Very similar pattern to right over here as well, just a little bit of a different angle right here. So when you get a nice trending stock, you're going to have this. You're going to have a little triangle here, breakout, higher prices. Triangle here, breakout, higher prices. So stocks tend to not move in a straight line, either up or down. You know, they need to break up and then digest the gains through time, break up, digest the gains through times, and then continue on that trend. So just kind of giving you a little insight into the movement of stocks. Next we'll take a look at BABA. And BABA here, we've got this nice uptrend line right here. Lots of touches, lots of touches. In the very short term, you want to see this uptrend line hold. This is a very steep trend line, so it's not going to last forever. That doesn't mean this stock is going to be, you know, come crashing down. But just to kind of look back on BABA, this is definitely a buy signal when we broke over these highs right here. Here was that buy signal right there, right here at about, you know, $87 when it broke over there. That was definitely a big buy signal. As you can see, this price had held BABA down for a long time, and then we finally broke over it with some heavy volume right there. So definitely a key look right there for BABA. Another thing that you want to notice here too of why that break was so important is look at here. The volume by price bars right here are very thick, and then look at where they drop off to. Once you break over this price level right there like we did, they drop off all the way back here. Volume by price bars over here, and then they drop off significantly. And look at how easy we moved once we broke over that that price level and over those volume by price bars. You know, this isn't magic. You know, this happens time and time again. You know, this is definitely something that you need to add to your arsenal when you're looking at stocks, is that volume by price. All right, let's look at Expedia. Expedia here, a couple things I want to point out here. Short term, we broke over this downtrend line right here yesterday. As you can see, a nice breakout. Since then, a break over this price level would be very bullish. And that price level is right around 117, 118. And I'm going to see if I can draw a trend line here. Yeah, that's an okay trend line. We've got a couple touches, a few touches. Boom, boom, boom. Broke over this downtrend line, heading higher. Looks like it wants higher. Be aware of this resistance, 1765. But a break over that would see a very nice move to the upside, as this has been tested many, many times unsuccessfully. And when it finally breaks through, should push the stock much, much higher. So, but until it happens, this is still resistance. So just be aware of that. All right, next I'm going to take a look at Starbucks. All right, so Starbucks here, I'm just going to delete this. Starbucks, a lot of lines here that I have on this chart, but as you can see, we're hanging out below this support. I'm just going to delete all these lines, and I'm just going to clean it up so we can focus on just these few things right here. And that level is about $54. You can see that it was support right here many times over here, and right here. And now we're hanging out below this level for quite some time. So notice right over here where we kind of broke that level right here, we shot right back up violently. And notice here when we're breaking through this level, we're hanging out below this level. So you know, to me it's kind of a no touch. I'd really wanted to see it break these lows, you know, below $53, $52 to really call it a nice short. But at this moment, it's really kind of a not a long at this moment. So just be aware of this, the levels here on that chart. All right, next I'm going to cover NVDA, everyone's favorite. So NVDA, obviously, you know, massive uptrend here. You know, You can see here, here's an uptrend right there, started in 2008, and this is why it's important to look at these weekly time frames. Here's a touch, there's several touches, a touch right there. We'll zoom in a little bit, almost a touch here, almost a touch there, and these are very good buying opportunities. Right now, where we are at, personally not, my style to, chase anything, but, you can totally participate in a stock like this as long as you just set your stops. And then you can, for example, buy it here at 66, 78, set your stop at, and I'm just throwing out random numbers here, and then set your stop at 63, and then you only have a $3 risk. This thing isn't going to fall from the sky. Well, it could, and totally gap below, well down below your stop, but that's not the way to trade on ifs or what ifs. So but anyway, so again, not really my style to really chase it up here. There's been other buying opportunities. As you can see, I'll break over this resistance right here. It's either we're trading in a tight range, broke over this resistance, alright, break higher. Break over this resistance, okay, now we're ready for the next leg. And I just want to point out another thing right here, is you can see that we got a quote-unquote short signal right here as we broke below this little box right here, and notice how it just screwed everyone and bounced heavy back above that, okay? So this is a point I want to make on individual names and in the market in general. When the market or a particular stock is very bullish, the bearish setups on it tend to not work out most of the time, okay? On a bearish stock, a break below this resistance on a box would be a very great looking short. But this is a massive uptrend stock, okay? So it didn't work out. And that shouldn't be a surprise to you, because that's what happens when the markets are very bullish and or a particular stock is very bullish. You can have the same setup. So let's look at this really quick. So over here we had basically the same setup. Very tight range. We broke over this range. Boom, blasted off huge, okay? Same setup over here. Tight range, really tight range. Very clean break of that box right here. And honestly, we did so on heavy volume as well. And look at MACD trending down as well. And look at what it did. It said, screw you, I'm going back up. So just want to kind of show you why when the markets are bullish, when a particular stock is bullish, you really want to trade with the trend and not against it. Alright, so I'm going to finish the video on that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do these videos. I love doing them. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, message me, Taylor from thetradinganalyst.com. Have a great night. See you next time.